Like, got Aliyah Boston in the face and then, brushed back. Got her in the eye. And a lot of people are wondering is like, first of all, why was this not an ejection? And should it be a
Here's
suspension?
why this moment separates itself from a routine flagrant call. About 25 seconds earlier, Griner and Boston were locked up, arms tied while battling for position, and the irritation was obvious. One possession later, Griner sees her opening and acts on it. That isn't incidental contact in the flow of play. That's an experienced player, known for physical run-ins, choosing to make a statement. Officials whistled it as a basic foul, not even flagrant, treating it like a simple reach-in. Missed calls happen live, that's part of sports. The real issue is what followed afterward, or more precisely, what never came.
But then, after she got... Look, the ball's nowhere to... Like, she goes... Griner makes no attempt to grab the ball here. Like, Griner is nowhere near the ball. She's not within a meter of the ball. The ball is not within a meter of her by the time she grabs Aliyah Boston's face. There's no question about it that, like, it's intentional. And if you guys know what had happened in the previous possession, they got their arms tangled up. And the fact that there is a history of Aliyah Boston and Brittney Griner going at it.
Here's why this moment separates itself from a routine flagrant call. About 25 seconds earlier, Griner and Boston were locked up, arms tied while battling for position, and the irritation was obvious. One possession later, Griner sees her opening and acts on it. That isn't incidental contact in the flow of play. That's an experienced player, known for physical run-ins, choosing to make a statement. Officials whistled it as a basic foul, not even flagrant, treating it like a simple reach-in. Missed calls happen live, that's part of sports. The real issue is what followed afterward, or more precisely, what never came.
That is a bit of a concern, because you know they're not going to be. Because it is Aliyah Boston. Realistically, because it's Aliyah Boston, it's not going to be seen as a concern, because unfortunately, because of proximity to Caitlin Clark, amongst the WNBA media, it's fair game. Aliyah Boston is fair game. Like, it's Aliyah Boston's fair game, Lexi Hull's fair game, Sophie Cunningham's fair game. You are allowed her and go out.
Consider
and try to hurt
Unrivaled's entire image for a moment. This is a league that constantly promotes itself as athlete-centered, focused on protection and forward thinking. They openly support players stepping away for mental health reasons. They manage injuries with extreme care. Diana Taurasi sat games this season under the banner of rest and recovery. The league repeatedly emphasizes how seriously it values player well-being. Yet when one athlete clearly hits another in the face with an action unrelated to making a basketball play, that careful philosophy suddenly vanishes. There's no added punishment, no post-game review, no official comment addressing conduct or safety, just complete quiet.
If Aliyah caught Brittney Griner with this, I'm fully believe that Aliyah would be suspended by Unrivaled. I fully believe it. But because in the psychotic world of the WNBA, fever players are fair game. Whether that's fair game from commentators, fair game from the media, fair game from other players. You are allowed to attack their characters.
Consider
you are allowed
Unrivaled's entire image for a moment. This is a league that constantly promotes itself as athlete-centered, focused on protection and forward thinking. They openly support players stepping away for mental health reasons. They manage injuries with extreme care. Diana Taurasi sat games this season under the banner of rest and recovery. The league repeatedly emphasizes how seriously it values player well-being. Yet when one athlete clearly hits another in the face with an action unrelated to making a basketball play, that careful philosophy suddenly vanishes. There's no added punishment, no post-game review, no official comment addressing conduct or safety, just complete quiet.
And Unrivaled, unfortunately, is a lot of the way Unrivaled is old WNBA media. So nothing will be done with this. Absolutely no will be done. Nothing will be done. And I don't think in general that something like this you could say, oh yeah, is worthy of a suspension. But when it comes to Unrivaled and it being this buddy league and players, you don't actually have to play.
That's the cleanest way to expose the double standard. Flip the jerseys and suddenly everyone knows the outcome. If Aliyah Boston had swung across Brittney Griner's face, there's zero chance this gets brushed off as a basketball play. We'd have a league statement the same night. A review announced within hours. clips circulating with slow-mo breakdowns and captions about protecting players. Media voices calling for suspensions before the post-game pressers even ended. And if a Fever player had slide-tackled a Mercury or Sparks player from behind and caused an injury, that player is ejected on the spot and suspended multiple games. No debate, we know this because the league has already proven it can act fast when it wants to. The mechanism exists. The precedent exists. The urgency just disappears when the player on the receiving end is wearing an Indiana Fever jersey. That's what makes the silence so loud. It's not that Unrivaled or the WNBA can't address this kind of play, it's that they're choosing not to. And when a league that markets itself as player-first, safety-driven, and progressive selectively applies those values, it undercuts the entire brand. Player safety can't be conditional. Discipline can't depend on star power, marketability, or which fanbase brings the most heat online. If retaliation shots to the face are only review-worthy when certain players get hit, then the message to everyone else is clear. Some jerseys come with protection, and some don't. That's not just a bad look. That's a credibility problem.
And it's not just a little small bit of history. Like, we've seen Brittney Griner swing elbows. We've seen Aliyah Boston. Aliyah Boston does Aliyah Boston things. When she drops steps, she keeps her arms high, and it's very like. And the thing is, like, it's ironically based on the rules of basketball. It is a perfectly legal elbow to the face. Like, she's in her cylinder. There's nothing wrong with it in the rules of basketball, but she does elbow people in the face. Let's be very clear.
When you zoom out and look at the on-court history between these two, it becomes clear this friction didn't come out of nowhere. Brittney Griner and Aliyah Boston have been involved in repeated physical exchanges across the last couple of seasons, and neither style is a secret. Griner has always played with force inside, using her body and throwing sharp elbows in the paint, while Boston establishes space by keeping her arms raised and strong when sealing defenders. Yes, Boston has clipped opponents before, but those moments happen inside her vertical space, which the rules explicitly protect. A player owns the area directly above them, and if someone drives into a raised elbow during a legal pivot, that contact is allowed even if it's uncomfortable. What happened here doesn't fall into that category at all. Griner's arm didn't stay within any vertical boundary, wasn't part of a scoring move, and came after the ball was already gone. It was a retaliatory strike to the head, full stop. Yet the most revealing part of this entire situation wasn't the act itself, but the reaction afterward. Instead of asking whether Griner should face discipline, the conversation immediately shifted to whether Boston somehow earned it. Sit with that for a second. A player takes a blow to the face, and the debate turns into blaming the person who got hit, not because she crossed a line, but because she shares a locker room with Caitlin Clark. We've seen this script before. The same framing followed Kennedy Carter's hit on Clark. The same grace extended to Angel Reese's repeated flagrant fouls that never escalated into suspensions. The same tolerance that allows media figures to label Fever fans as villains without consequence. There's an unspoken list of players who are treated as open season, and everyone watching understands exactly who's on it. Unrivaled didn't break from this culture. They absorbed it and may be amplifying it. Unlike the WNBA, they don't even have the excuse of decades of politics and red tape. This league positioned itself as a reset, a player-empowered alternative where standards would be clearer and protection universal. Instead, the same selective enforcement is showing up under a new banner. Athletes can step away whenever they choose, but safety only matters when the injured party fits the preferred storyline. Physicality is praised as toughness unless it's aimed at the wrong jersey, at which point it's ignored or rationalized. And the frustrating truth is that none of this is complicated. You don't need extended reviews or forensic breakdowns to recognize what occurred. There was prior contact, visible tension, and then a swing to the face after the play, textbook grounds for additional discipline in any professional league. One game, maybe two, paired with a firm message that retaliation to the head won't be tolerated. But that would require Unrivaled to apply its rules evenly, not selectively. It would require protecting everyone the same way, not just those who align with the league's narrative priorities. And everything we've seen suggests that isn't happening. They had a moment to establish credibility, to prove their safety messaging wasn't just branding, to show that a new league could actually be better. Instead, they chose quiet. They chose inaction. And in doing so, They made it clear whose well-being matters and whose doesn't. When the next incident inevitably happens, remember this. Remember the opportunity that was ignored. Remember that protection was conditional. And remember that progressive language means nothing if standards aren't enforced. Should Griner be suspended? Without question. Will it happen? We both know the answer. Because in this league, some players are shielded and others are expendable, and until that reality changes, this same debate will keep repeating itself.